episode of Star Wars Alternate History. And as you see on the screen here, we got Princess Leia, and you can probably guess from my last episode what the topic may be. The question is, what if Leia was executed on the Death Star? Now, the effects we're going to be discussing here are effects that would have happened in the movies, which to me are much more limited than if you're looking at any obvious expanded universe effects. The reason I'm not going to go into the exact expanded universe effects is number one, I haven't looked into it too much, and number two, I think that's a different discussion for other topics that may come up in the future that are more exact and precise to those reasonings. So, the first thing we're going to look at is any diplomatic influences Leia may have had that would be affected for the rebellion or in the future the New Republic. Because obviously Leia had been an Imperial Senator for 1 year, and her father was the famous Bail Organa. Now, Bail Organa is the first thing I'm going to mention here. Bail Organa is what gives Leia a lot of diplomatic influence, as many people trusted her father and saw him as a great person at giving speeches and very influential. Due to this gives Leia more influence over others as they see her as being her father's extension and her own father's opinion in a different form, which I would say is very true. Now, due to this, any influences Leia may have had with her due to her father will automatically be canceled out. That was caused after. So I don't know exactly what those influences are. We can generally assume that these influences are going to be getting different groups to come, money, influences for funding the rebellion, and influencing new planets to join the New Republic later on because of remembering her father. Also, any connections she would have to anyone would be automatically cut off that would have helped the New Republic in the rebellion. I'm going to assume that was quite a bit, so the rebellion would be harmed by this loss, as I believe the Organa family, especially her father and her, were some of the biggest benefactors to this. I don't know that there were any other huge influences, and also we can assume much of the Organa family was killed in the destruction of Alderaan along with Bail Organa. So therefore, there would be less influences due to that, though there are other diplomats such as Mon Mothma, General Ryakan, and Admiral Akbar that will appear. I don't believe they had the same exact influences as Leia. The next thing I have on my list is an expanded universe thing from Kevin J. Anderson's books. At the end of Kevin J. Anderson's Jedi Academy trilogy, Leia becomes the new leader of the New Republic after Mon Mothma fell sick and nearly died. Due to this, Leia has a lot of influence in the early development of the New Republic after about 5 years, and probably shaped all the policies. If Leia wasn't in this position, I would likely pinpoint Admiral Akbar due to what was happening to him at that moment in time, but I actually don't know exactly who to pinpoint as being the new leader of the rebellion. Let's see, there was General Ryakan, Akbar who left. I don't remember some others, but I'm going to assume they would have tried for Akbar, but Akbar wouldn't have come in. What else? My point being taken is her influences would not have been hers, but someone else's, therefore no longer there. Also, many diplomats try to make peace, and in the case of the New Republic, also tried inviting new planets to join. Leia had much influence in this, for example, with the Nogri from Timothy Zahn's book. She tried to bring the Nogri over into the New Republic after realizing the harms the rebellion had done to them without knowing during the war. She's simply trying her best to be nice to other people. Her actions with people such as the Nogri never would have occurred. Therefore, either someone else would have taken up the position, or the position would never even be taken. Therefore, the influences of new planets joining the New Republic would happen much slower. The effects this would have on the New Republic would be significant, as it would not be able to fight back people such as Akbar, or would have more trouble with people such as Thrawn, or have more trouble with people such as renegades of Admiral Dalla, and wouldn't have as much influence as informing the new galaxy. Next thing we get to is her husband after the movies, or her love interest in the movies, Han Solo. Han Solo would never fall in love with Leia, as Leia would have died before he even reached the Death Star, or while he was on the Death Star, and there would be no reason. This means Han Solo would likely detach himself from the rebellion, likely, I would say, visiting Luke every now and then, and Obi-Wan Kenobi due to the bonds he formed. If Obi-Wan Kenobi was still living, which he probably wouldn't be due to the events happening on Death Star, would still occur, just without Leia being there. Although Luke and Han could have been taken hostage when the Imperials came in and saw C-3PO and R2. Furthermore, Han Solo being the General of Endor wouldn't have happened, and he wouldn't have obviously saved Leia. He would have just gone in separate ways after receiving a reward for getting them to for getting Obi-Wan and Luke to rebellion, but would likely take much longer, as they won't be going straight to Yavin 4 unless for some reason R2-D2 had the information, but we have no knowing exactly which information he carried other than the Death Star plans. Furthermore, Han and Leia had children, 3, Anakin, Jason, and Jannah. All 3 would never be born. Therefore, the second great civil war would never occur after the Swarm, or the Swarm War as it's otherwise known, and there would never be a second empire formed. Therefore, it would give the New Republic more building up time and less conflict, less people die, because Jason and Jannah were the siblings in the middle of it. Jason on the dark side and his twin sister on the light. They would never be Jedi, and the Jedi twins would not be influential in getting Admiral Thrawn to get Jorus C'baoth to work for him, as the only possible thing would be Luke Skywalker instead of Jorus C'baoth. For Jorus C'baoth. So it's much less likely Jorus C'baoth will work for him, as he would more take in his own light for Luke Skywalker to come over, because I would say the 2 Jedi twins are what he really wanted out of the deal. The next thing is Luke and Obi-Wan's arrival to Yavin 4. As I briefly touched on this, it would take them much longer to find Yavin 4, as there's no telling if R2-D2 had the plans on him or not, which means the Death Star likely wouldn't find Yavin 4 through tractor beam because they knew Leia would be going on the ship. But if Leia was dead, they wouldn't know that they knew the location. Yeah, Force, so even if they put a tractor beam on it, not a tractor beam, homing beacon, they may not find the rebel base, and they may simply take the homing beacon off. Okay, the last thing I have here is another expanded universe topic dealing with the future of Jedi, being Leia was Luke's sister. Leia was seen as one of the future generations of the new Jedi, an example of how Luke would be able to be a Jedi Master as he had been training Leia to be a Jedi. Luke would not have this ability as Leia would be dead, influencing his ability to prove his possible abilities, and for Leia to stand up for him in forming the new Jedi, as I believe the new Jedi would still occur. Leia's actions as a Jedi or trying to be a Jedi would never occur, and she would have less influences over those who disagreed with creating the Jedi. So, tell me your opinions about the subject. Tell me what questions you think I should answer next about points in Star Wars history that could be changed. Feel free to ask any questions about the expanded universe, and if you're interested in me doing other fictional universes, let me know. I'm willing to do Star Trek, Doctor Who, Ender's Verse, and there may be others I'm willing to do. Just throw them out there. I'll go ahead and let you know I will not do Harry Potter. So, again, throw your questions out there on points in Star Wars history, and I'll let you know how I think it influenced. See you later. This is an episode of Star Wars Alternate History. Bye.